It is playoff semifinals. We're in State of the Week address number 14. Yeah! I'm going to try something a little bit different here, kind of like NFL primetime back in its heyday. So we're going to get the music playing once I get a little bit of an intro here. We're going to jump right into the games. I was 4-0 last week. I was absolutely correct on every single game. You guys can take it to the bank. I'm going to try and go 6-0 this week. Let's get right to it. We're going to go right to the consolation bracket. I'm going to have a little bit some NFL primetime music in the background. We're going to have some fun with this. Right now we are in the 11th place game. This is for the worst team in the league. We got Nick going against Moan. Now it looks like Moan has nobody in his lineup. It's a ballsy strategy. He's going to go and hope for Nick to score negative points. Moan winning 0 to -1. I don't think it's going to work. I'm going to go with Nick in that matchup and Moan coming out 12th place in our league. Next game in the loser bracket, also continuing, we have DeNoble and Teddy. I took a look at the matchups earlier. I'm not going to get into it because I want to get to the winners bracket. Right now I'm taking Teddy, small advantage. I had 5 check marks versus DeNoble's 4 check marks. Teddy, slight advantage. Moving on, consolation bracket, Teddy and Big Mike. We got 5 check marks for Fatigue. I got 5 check marks for Big Mike. I'm going the slight advantage for Fatigue just because of his huge advantage. With Ben Roethlisberger versus Big Mike having to choose Andy Dalton because it doesn't look like Cam Newton's going to be able to go. Woo! I'm going to need a small break from that. Let me put this on pause. Let me put this on pause. So I looked at all this really, really thoroughly. So don't get discouraged when I get to the winners bracket. So I'm going to take a little bit more time. Okay. I liked what Sam did. He was just right to the point last week on vacation for him. So I'm going to just do a quick one here for 5th place, and then we're going to get into a good breakdown here when we get to the 2 semifinal games. All right, let's cue that music back up. Please. Ooh, I like that. Man, why did they ever get rid of NFL primetime? Ugh. All right, when we go to the 5th place game, I'm looking at Zuck and let's see who else is playing. I'm looking at Pembroke. Now, Zuck's team, to me, is completely washed up. I'm looking at the matchups right now, and where is Zuck? Anyway, Zuck collecting glasses. All right, I'm looking at this matchup. He's got Tannehill and Romo. I think that's about even. When you get into the running backs, it gets into a huge advantage. I mean, Giovanni Bernard's not even the #1 guy anymore. Pembroke's got Forte and Arian Foster, 2 huge running backs. Rashad Jennings wasn't even the one guy for the Giants last week. So I said huge advantage here. I think Pembroke's going to run away with this one easily. All right. So those are my picks so far. Let's see. I've got Nick over Moan, Teddy over DeNoble, Fatigue over Big Mike, and I've also got Pembroke over Zuck. Now, I've got to cut the music for this because this is where I got to really break it down because I did some intense analysis. I was prepping for this for about an hour. Let's get to the big games. First game, I usually want to do myself last, but I did myself last week. So we're going to take a look at my matchup with Sam. This is the first semifinal game here. And I'm going to give you my analysis here. First, starting at the quarterback, got Aaron Rodgers and a Peyton Manning. Luckily, Peyton Manning for him is playing in San Diego. He's got nice warm weather. I know they're running the ball more, but Peyton Manning in warm weather is doing very well. Aaron Rodgers is playing a tough Bills team. I know the projections say Peyton Manning's favor. I'm going even on this matchup here. Got the running back position. It looks like he's got Randall Cobb at #1, but I really, replaced him with Odell Beckham. He's his #1 receiver now. I've got T.Y. Hilton. He has been as good as anyone all season long. Odell's the only guy in New York. For that matchup, I got even. We go to wide receiver #2. We're looking at, I don't know if I'm going to have Marcus Wilson there or if I'm going to have Mike Wallace. Looks like Sam's going to probably have Mike Evans there. I've got a huge advantage. Not huge, but I'm going to go with Mike Evans on that matchup. Even though between Mike Evans and the other receiver, those two kind of share catches. But anyway, I'm going to give advantage on wide receiver 2 to Sam. And if we move to running back 1, gosh, it looks like all of our running backs are taking such a beating. They're both walking into this game on crutches. I've got Jamal Charles, he's an absolute touchdown machine. He's got just as many touchdowns as DeMarco Murray does in 4 less games this season. Nonetheless, we're talking DeMarco Murray here. He's the only guy that touches the ball in Dallas except for Tony Romo when he gets the snap and hands it off to DeMarco. However, because of the sheer amount of touchdowns Jamal Charles gets, especially going against Oakland this week, I'm going to take an even matchup on that. If we move on to the second running back position, Justin Forsett is hurt. C.J. Anderson is too. I think both of their health is questionable as far as being 100%. I don't think either of them are going to be 100%. I want to give Justin Forsett a slight advantage just because of the warm weather. I think they're going to move back to throwing the ball over in Denver. However, just because I know Forsett's playing Jacksonville, but because of how they limited his carries last week, I'm not sure how that situation is going to go. I'm going to be a little bit conservative here. I'm going to go an even matchup here: C.J. Anderson, Justin Forsett at the running back number 2. We're moving to tight end here. Sam here has Jordan Reed, and he's playing on a laughable Redskins team. I've got Martellus Bennett, and actually with Brandon Marshall looking like he's not going to play. I think he's actually out for the rest of the season. Bennett's a top tight end after Gronk and Jimmy Graham, especially for this matchup. I think Martellus Bennett gets an easy matchup and advantage on the tight end position. Moving into flex. Mark Ingram is playing a Bears team that can't play defense at all. I'm expecting the Saints to have a big day. However, I know Sam's got to choose either Latavius Murray or Jonathan Stewart. They both are great running backs themselves. It's a tough choice for Sam to make. I'm glad I'm not going to be the one making it, although I have to do the same thing receiver. I'm actually still going to split this. I think Ingram's going to have a better day, but Ingram didn't have a good game last week. That's because the whole team got blown out. So the Saints are very inconsistent, and that's my problem here. I'm still going to go with still an even matchup here at the flex position. If we move to kicker, I mean, Hauschka's playing the San Francisco 49ers, who are absolutely getting destroyed the last few weeks. Justin Tucker is playing Jacksonville. So for actually both of these teams, I'm expecting both to get a lot of touchdowns. I don't think any field goals are going to get kicked, at least not many for either team. So I'm going to go an even matchup there. If we even go to defense, Seattle, they're playing at home against the 49ers. The 49ers got crushed last time. Seahawks are going to steamroll them again. Thing with Cleveland is they're playing Cincinnati. So I have no idea what's going to happen here. I think that's a kind of a hit or miss game. I'm still going to go with an even matchup. I know right now I've got one on my side, one check mark on the other side. I'm going to give myself a slight advantage just because, actually I said 51 to 49%. I'm a little more biased to my side more than that. But I think because of the slight advantages I have with Forsett and even at the defense position, I think I'm going to just pull this out. I know you guys are not taking me serious right now, but I was right last week, so stick with me. I'm making these really tough decisions. I'm looking at these real thoroughly, so believe in me. I know you think I'm full of shit, but that's the pick I made. All right? I need a water break for a second. I wish I had a pause button on this thing. It's insane. All right, so let's go to the other game, the other big game, the semifinals. This one's between Alex and Scott. Now, I actually thought this would be a laughable matchup a couple weeks ago. We look at it now. Teams are in completely different situations right now. Go to the quarterback first. Tom Brady's been great all season, but the Bears can't play defense. I'm expecting Drew Brees to have a big game, even though they're inconsistent. I'm still picking Drew Brees. Advantage to Scott's team. Move to wide receiver 1. Steve Smith Sr. Torrey Smith is out for Baltimore, it looks like. So Steve Smith Sr. is going to be the guy. You can't go against Antonio Brown. Antonio Brown is one of the best wide receivers in the NFL right now, at least when fantasy is concerned. I'm just giving the advantage to Antonio Brown. Wide receiver 2, A.J. Green, who's been fantastic but did not do very well last game against the Browns. Against Joe Hayden, apparently he struggles a little bit, although I think his fantasy numbers are still okay. Marcus Colston is now the number 1 guy out in New Orleans. I'm expecting Breeze to have a big day. I think Colston's going to follow that out too. Therefore, I'm actually going even on this matchup, as bullshit as you guys think that is. Running back 1, we have Le'Veon Bell versus Alfred Morris. I don't know if anyone has had more points than Le'Veon Bell in the last 3 weeks. Guy's on an absolute tear. I gave double check marks in that matchup because Le'Veon Bell's been so dominant lately, and I think he's going to continue on that streak, especially against Atlanta, a team that also can't play defense this season. We go to running back 2. He's got Jeremy Hill. Webster's so lucky with that after losing Andre Ellington. He's got a guy who has taken over the number 1 position at running back in Cincinnati. Dan Huron also has been fine in Indy, though, for running back. He's their favorite. I think those two are a wash. I'm going to go even matchup here. At tight end, Jordan Cameron has been hurt because of his concussion. He's missed a few games. Didn't do anything last week at all. Jimmy Grant has done just as bad the last 2 weeks. However, I'm expecting the Saints to have a big game. There's a little bit of uncertainty with that, but hey, I think that's what's going to happen. That's my prediction, and obviously Jimmy Graham is a much better tight end than Jordan Cameron. Tight end advantage, I'm going to Scott. So if we move on to the flex position, I'm looking at this. Larry Donnell, I can't believe Scott still has a tight end here. I can't believe it. However, I look on Webster's side, he's got a perfect chance to get an advantage here, and all he's got is Reggie Bush, and Reggie Bush has been as irrelevant as 50 Cent has been in the rap game. This is not a good, I can't believe Webster's not taking advantage of this. I'm looking down here. It doesn't look like he has anyone else he can replace there. Perhaps Vincent Jackson. Regardless, I'm going even matchup here. I'm sorry, but I know it's a tight end in the flex, but I guess it makes sense in this situation, given that Larry Donnell's really stepped up as probably the number 2 receiver in New York. So we go to the kicker. They're hard to distinguish. Kickers you don't know, so they're even there. And I'm moving over the defense. Carolina, they've got a great matchup. They're playing Tampa Bay. I know Cam Newton's hurt, but that has nothing to do with their defense. They're still going to play the great defense there. My big problem here is St. Louis against Arizona. I can't believe Yahoo says they're not even going to score 6 points against Arizona, a team that's got a backup quarterback, a team that's got a backup running back team by committee. So St. Louis has been an absolute tear the last few weeks. I have no idea how Yahoo thinks they're only going to score 6 points. So I give it an advantage to Scott on that, which actually gives 3 check marks on each side. But because of what I've been saying, I'm actually going to pick Webster in this matchup just because Scott is relying on three players on the Saints. The Saints have been they're the Saints. They've got a losing record. They're from the NFC South. Nobody knows what that division, who's going to come out of that division. They've been so inconsistent, and because of that inconsistency, I'm actually going to go with Webster's team on that matchup. All right. So there's my picks for the week, everyone. What can I say here? I'm going to roll this all back up. My 6-0 picks of the week. We've got Nick over Moan, Teddy over DeNoble, Pratik over Big Mike. We've got Pembroke over Zuck. We've got Bruce over Sam. I'm lost. And we've got Alex over Scott. Those are the 6-0 picks. Take it to the bank, boys. Good luck to everyone playing, except for Sam. This is a big game. Winners of those big 2 games go to the championship. We're playing for some big money. Have a good week, everyone. Commissioner out.